Good morning, everyone. It's my final consecutive streaming day of the week, and it is Fighting Game Fiesta Day, featuring the premiere of a fighting game that released over EVO weekend, plus more fun Street Fighter 6. But in addition to that, on today's show, we got some great game news, with Ubisoft apologizing to the entire country of Japan. Also, Capcom shares its recipe for financial success amidst an industry that seems to be crumbling. So what's the secret? Well, we'll find out, because there's all this and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, everybody. So, what a week it has been. A good one. I'm excited for today, being my final streaming day of the week. Today is Tuesday, the 23rd of July, 2024. And, of course, I'm Darkside Phil. Welcome to the show with a good variety of topics to discuss, including some updates to the schedule, because we've decided on a couple of different games that I'll be playing over the course of the next week. Plus, I have a good update regarding Saturday's fun upcoming Digital Summer Party Marathon. I have some interesting developments when it comes to stuff we'll be doing during that, which is going to be fun as heck. In addition, great game news today to discuss with this Ubisoft hilarious update, as well as a good Capcom story. And I'm excited to jump into a new fighting game today, so I hope that you're all here, and you're all doing well, and you're ready to chill. Fighting Game Fiesta. You know what's fun about today? Today we're going to do fighting games all day. But the difference here is that it's not going to be super serious. This is not, oh, I'm going online for ranked play and I must win every match. Especially the first game we're going to play today, SNK versus Capcom Chaos. This is not a game that was ever held in any regard in competitive circles, okay? It was barely ever played in tournaments. It was during that forgotten era, the dark period of fighting games between like 2001 and 2009, when Capcom wasn't putting out any new fighting games. And so SNK tried to put this one out, and it failed. It did not do well. And there's some good reason for it. As you'll see today, the engine is not exactly the best fighting game engine ever made. And in addition, even though this claims to be a crossover game, wait until you see. If you've never seen this game before, wait until you see how the Street Fighter characters look and play in this game. I mean, these characters are deformed and distorted beyond any measure that you could imagine. It's like extreme body horror in some cases. I'm not even kidding. Like, if you've seen Human Centipede, you may be close to seeing what we're about to see today in SVC Chaos. It's that disturbing what they did with the Capcom characters when they SNK-amized them for this game. So, if you're ready for some fun for all the wrong reasons, it's all good. If you're here to be, oh, this is super serious, and I'm sure that this will be great. No. Don't take today seriously. It's not meant to. Like, I'm not expecting to play at a high level and get wins. It's just about messing around with this game, because you're going to see how hilarious this game is, okay? If we approach it like that, I think we're all going to have a good time. If we approach it as a serious fighter and I must do well, it's going to be a waste of time, you know? In fact, it was funny. Jasper, you're going to stop that right now. You're going to stop chewing that wire right now. It was funny because yesterday I was on stream and Mark from Australia came on stream and he's like, so I bought SVC for PC on Steam. I'm playing it on my Steam Deck. He goes, I played a Japanese player who knew all these insane combos with Dimitri and he destroyed me. And the only answer I have to say for that is, why? Why would anyone even know the combos? Like, again, this game was not played seriously in any competitive circle. No one took SVC seriously. It wasn't a tournament circuit game. Why would someone have even gone and bothered? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go crazy with this game. I'm going to mess around with it, sure. I want to see how the Street Fighter characters play. I know how to play with some of the SNK characters because I played King of Fighters. So it'll be fun. to experiment with and mess around with. It's not anything that's meant to be a serious fighting game. So, I mean, holy crap, the game just came out and you got the tryhards already on there. It's like, oh my lord, of course, right? Because in 2024, no one could just play something to have fun. We all have to be tryhards, right? Anyway, this will be a good time today. Anyway, how's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the show. This is my final streaming day of the week, of course. It's been a fun week. What a good balance this week. We finished the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. We finished Riven Remake, right? We made great progress and strides in Street Fighter 6. I'm now at the highest rank I've ever been in ranked with M. Bison. Super cool. And in addition, had some chill Stardew Valley fun. And we even finished my retro react of Dark Souls 1 over on DSP Throwback. And we began the Dante's Inferno remastered playthrough on DSP Throwback. So this has been a pretty eventful week in my content, and I hope that if you haven't had a chance, that you'll take tomorrow when I'm off to maybe get caught up on stuff all over my channels, because, you know, there's content on every single channel, and I appreciate you all hanging out with me during the live streams, but I realize not everyone can be here for every stream. I hope you'll take a chance tomorrow when I'm not here to, you know, get caught up on the ones you missed. In particular, the ending of Elden Ring was quite good and epic. It was fun. Not only did I legitimately, not cheesing, but legitimately beat the final boss of the DLC, but then I went back and destroyed Radagon and the Elden Beast to actually give it a proper ending, which was really cool. And of course, Riven Remake is an outstanding game. I was actually very pleased with how that game was, even though it had a really mind-numbing puzzle at the end. I actually figured out a codex on the fly in the middle of the stream. I solved it. I was like, wow, I've impressed myself, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do that. So good stuff coming up. Yesterday was a very relaxing day. And what I mean by that is yesterday I didn't really play any games that were very challenging or taxing or stressful. The first stream was the return of Fallout 4, where we turboed through a huge amount of the content of the Nuka World DLC in 3 hours. Like, we beat 4.5 out of the 5 areas of the theme park that you need to beat in order to get to the end of the DLC, all in one sitting. And probably another 45 minutes or so, and we'll beat it all, and then we can move on. So that was great. And I want to say thanks to those who showed up and chilled. It's not a big audience. I understand that. I mean, we started playing Fallout 4 in April, for God's sakes. We're like 50-some hours into the playthrough, almost 60, but we're nearing the end. You know, like I said, we have the end of Nuka World. We have the Automatron DLC, which is not lengthy. It's only a couple of hours. And then we've got the final plotline of the main game, which is the Institute and the choices you make there, and then siding with someone, and then the end of the game. So within another couple of weeks, a few more streams, we will wrap up Fallout 4, which will be great. That way it's not a loose end dangling and unfinished. But thanks to those who came by and supported that stream yesterday. At first, it was actually looking not very good at all. And I was nervous because I was like, dude, you know, I want to finish this game, but I can't play it and finish it if I'm going to have like a $10 that I make in 6 hours of streaming. And then all of a sudden, people showed up last minute and actually really supported it, and I was very happy for that. So thank you for that. And then last night, Stardew Valley. We actually went about midway into fall. I finished the mines, although from what I understand, it's not the only mine in the game, but the first mine, we finished it completely. Did some rare fish fishing in a lava lake, and did a bunch of other interesting stuff. Learned how to recycle properly and stuff like that. And we had a lot of fun, chill conversation. Because I think what's happened in the last few streams of Stardew Valley is that I've gotten so hyper-focused on the game that I was forgetting the fact that it's supposed to be a late-night chill stream. Like, that's the idea. And so last night, I started pausing the game and taking time to actually turn to the audience and talk for a bit. And it worked out really, really well in that regard. I think I'm going to continue to do that, to have conversation rather than be hyper-focused on the game when I play it moving forward. And again, I want to say thank you to those who were there and those who supported, because, again, it was kind of a slow stream. And then by the last half hour, people came and supported the stream, and it ended up being a pretty darn good stream because of that when it comes to business-wise. So thank you for that as well. Now we can keep these games in the rotation, okay? Good stuff. So let's talk about the schedule for the rest of this week, okay? Today we're checking out SVC Chaos. This is SNK's answer to the crossover event of the early 2000s. If you remember, originally Capcom made Capcom vs. SNK 1, which honestly wasn't a very good game. They kind of messed it up with the game engine. So they rushed and immediately within like a year and a half pushed out Capcom vs. SNK 2, a far superior game that then stood the test of time for nearly a decade. It was one of the big four Capcom games that everyone played in tournaments. Well, SNK also had the rights to make a game with the Capcom properties, just like Capcom had made games with the SNK properties. So they made SVC Chaos in 2003. Little weird because it was like 3+ years after the Capcom iteration, so it was odd it took them so long. It was not well received. Let's just put it this way. Number one, it released during the end of the arcade era. It was during this time period that games were now being moved out of the arcades and ported to home consoles. So already, you had a point here where people weren't going to arcades to play games, and this originally was an arcade release, then got ported to like original Xbox and stuff like that. So already it didn't have a big player base or a wide distribution. People weren't going to arcades to play fighting games at this point. And then on top of that, again, like I just mentioned, the Street Fighter characters are very weirdly represented in this game. They look odd. They play really bizarrely. And a lot of people argue it almost is like the Street Fighter characters are not good. Just to be honest, they're just not good. They're kind of really crappy. Compare that with Capcom vs. SNK, where there was an equal amount of characters on each side that were good. Like there were some SNK characters that were really good. Like wasn't it Nakaruru was like super broken from Samurai Showdown? She was like one of the best characters in the game by far. But then the Capcom side, there were some good characters too. But in this one, I think it's like mostly SNK characters that are good, and maybe one or two Capcom characters. Like I think it's actually Zero from Mega Man is in this game, and he's like brokenly good. Like insanely over the top brokenly good. And interestingly enough, some of the gameplay elements of Zero from SVC Chaos were actually taken and put into Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and his version in that game. So it's almost like this weird SNK game was the inspiration to put Zero into MVC 3 and turn him into what he was in that. And he was pretty good in that, right? So without spoiling, I did boot up SVC Chaos last night on my mini PC. We're going to be playing it on PC. Can you believe it? I'm playing a fighting game on PC. How cool is that? I booted it up, and I tweaked it a bit. So I got it running at 1080p, 60 frames, but actually I have it running at 120 hertz, but the game doesn't run better than 60 frames. It's 60 frames per second game, okay? I got it with zero input delay. Like you can actually, in the settings, in this version of the game, you can say how much input delay you want. I put it to 0, and I turned on VSync. So what this means is when we play online, yes, I should have no input delay or drops, and it shouldn't tear the screen, because the VSync should fix that. Okay? But there's this one weird thing about the game, and actually I'm kind of remembering it from when the game was in arcades, because I did play this in arcades, if you can believe it. This was the end of times I was going to like arcades, 2003-ish. So check this out. In the menus, the game has absolutely instant response time. I'm in the menu and I'm up and down on the joystick, and it's go immediately. Like no delay. The menus are ultra responsive. Then when you actually go into the game has input delay. And I'm playing offline. I'm not playing online. I'm playing offline in training mode. And I press the button and it's like, Try it again. What? Yeah. And I remember when it was in arcades, it was the same. Because I remember trying to play, I was like, man, it feels like this game is really like slow-mo, sluggish. Yeah, I think it's the game. I think the game was made that way. Probably another reason why the game didn't catch on competitively. It's very slow to respond. So it really feels more like an older school fighting game than anything more modern with faster responses and stuff. You got to basically like guess and predict, and it's really, really weird. Now, here's the thing. I'm hoping we're going to get some people on stream today who have played this game before, because I don't remember the mechanics. I think there's a mechanic where if you have a super meter and you block a move, you can dash cancel out of the block, and then you could do a move of your own. So let's say you're Hugo. You block a move, you dash, you can do command throw. And I think you can only do it when you have meter, so you have to like do it at the right time so it makes sense. But at the same time, I can't remember if it's a guaranteed hit or not. Like, it's not, is it like a parry in Street Fighter 3 where it freezes everything? Or is it just you dash and you have an opportunity to like grab from behind? I can't remember how it works. Also, there's something called Exceed, which is supposed to be everyone's like final level super. It's like, consider it like the critical art in Street Fighter 6. But I don't remember how to do it. I actually don't remember how to activate it because it's in the moves list, and I was practicing. It was in maximum meter and everything. I was doing it, and no one's moves would come out. So I couldn't figure out. I hope we'll get some people here who've played this before and be like, here's how the mechanics work. You have to do a dash in the middle of blocking. Timing seems strict. Right. So it's like you look for an opportunity when someone's attacking you. You dash out of the block, and then you can do like something from behind. You can do full combo or something, right? But I did use his meter. Exceed requires red health and 2 buttons. Okay, that's what it was. I had maximum bar, but I didn't have red health. So that's why I couldn't do the Exceed moves. Okay, so it's like critical art. All right, cool. Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay, thank you. So we'll see today how this works out. I predict hilarity, because wait until you see how the Street Fighter characters look in this game. It's hilarious. It's a laugh riot. Guile's hairdo, Dalsim. Oh my God, Dalsim in this game. The thing is, I don't want to spoil. I could tell you, but I don't want to spoil the fun we're about to have with this game, with how silly it is. Okay, so we'll play it today. We'll have some fun, and we'll go from there. Tonight on the late stream, it's Street Fighter 6. Yes, it's online play, but I'm not going to use Bison tonight. I've decided I've done a lot of Bison. I want to take a night off from Bison tonight, and I'm leaning either towards Honda or Dalsim. I really enjoyed playing with both of those characters on Friday when I did the casual lobby, and I was like, man, I kind of miss these characters. And so I want to use them. So we'll see tonight. Maybe on stream I'll ask who people want, either Honda or Dalsim tonight in Street Fighter 6 online play. Okay? I'm off from streaming tomorrow. When we come back on Thursday, it'll be Fallout 4 continuing. We'll finish up the Nuka-Cola World DLC likely, and then some chill Stardew Valley. Friday, again, we'll do another fighting game fiesta. It'll be probably more SVC on the day stream and more Street Fighter on the night stream. Now, Saturday is a big, exciting day, and I have some positive updates in regards to Saturday. Okay, Saturday is... Hold on. Excuse me. Ooh. Saturday is the Digital Summer Party, my marathon, which I haven't done one for about 2 months. And I'm excited to hang out with you guys all day in a more casualized setting. It will not be a super complicated event. It will not be an event where we have set segments where we must do this and this and this. It's going to be very, very laid back, okay? Oh, really? Takaino Senshi says he's telling me about SVC now. There's 2 ways to do a guard step cancel. If you hold block and you press forward, it's 20% meter. Or if you hold block and you press B and C, it's 60% meter. So you want to dash then. You don't ever want to be pressing B and C. You want to dash. Are they the same, though? Are they identical? Or is one better than the other? Anyway, thanks for telling me, but let's talk about the Digital Summer Party, all right? So first off, there's going to be booze and food. I'm going to order some food during the day, likely barbecue, but I'm not sure yet. I have to speak with my wife over the day off. We'll plan it out. And there's going to be some booze. I'm going to go to the liquor store tomorrow and pick something out that I'll have during the event to drink all day, okay? But in addition, we're going to do some fun, chill stuff. Number 1, we're going to do gameplay. What gameplay? Well, we could do Street Fighter 6. We could do SVC. We could do Stardew Valley. Or one thing that I actually definitely want to do, I'm going to get this game, the Nintendo World Championships, on the Switch, and we're going to play it. And we're going to do challenge runs in the various classic NES games that have been out, you know, in this game set up. It's going to be fun because you guys are going to be voting in chat. You'll be like, gee, I wonder, can Phil do this particular challenge run? And we'll see who has confidence that I can do it and who says I can't. And it's going to be pretty fun, I feel, to do challenge runs. I haven't done anything like this in a very long time, okay? Now, in addition to all the casualized gameplay that I'll be doing, we're going to do a tier maker, but get this. A fan stepped up and made 2 awesome tier makers that we can do. Now, I don't think we're going to do both, but listen to these 2 awesome tier makers. Idea number 1, ranking all of the Souls-like games I've ever played. All of them. This includes the entire Dark Souls series, Demon Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, the Neos, you know, Lies of P, Another Crab's Treasure, and or more, because I've played more than that. So all of those, okay, ranked together. That's number 1. I know it was not Derek that made them. If you're going to keep picking on Derek, I'm just going to ban you right now so we don't have to bother with this bullshit today. All right? So just shut up about it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, and this one I think might even be better, and I think this might be the one you guys want me to do. Someone has compiled the list of the top 2 most disappointing games of the year per my countdowns for about 12 to 13 straight years. So you remember last year we ranked the best games of all time against each other from my previous countdowns? We can do the worst games ranking countdown now. So we could say, what's the worst of the worst? But maybe now, after time, there's some games that I think aren't so bad. Okay? I think that's really a really good tier maker to do. So I'm going to, have you guys think about it over the next few days and we'll determine it. But I think that would be a good one. It's a follow-up to the one we did a year ago, and that one was very popular. So I'm excited to see what are the absolute worst games of the last 13 plus years. We could do the tier maker to rank them. Okay? So, just think about that. We're going to have some booze and some food. We're going to be playing various different games. We're going to be doing some Nintendo World Championship stuff, and we're going to do some tier maker fun. So it should be a really fun marathon event. It's a great day if you just want to come by and hang out and see what I'm up to and just have a good time. It's a good day to support the channel and to support the community. A lot of people maybe come by. You want to give some memberships? That'll be a great day to do it because there'll be a lot of people on stream, okay? So, it's good stuff. I hope you'll be here this Saturday all day long for the marathon event. Then on Sunday, it's React Day with my clip show, DSP versus the Internet over on DSP Reacts, and are returning to the retro react of Mario and Sonic at the 2012 London Olympic Games on DSP Throwback on the late stream. That coincides with the actual real-life Olympics. How cool is that? That we're actually doing it at exactly the same time. And then for the rest of the week, we'll play it by ear. Here's the thing. Since I'm going to buy the Nintendo World Championships game, that's the one we can also put in the rotation. So we're going to continue on. We'll probably do some SVC, some Nintendo World Championships from time to time. We're going to be working on finishing up Fallout 4 and Street Fighter 6 in the mix. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good balance of stuff over the next week. And then, of course, as we head into August, we can see how much time permits if we have time for more stuff or stuff like that. Okay? Awesome. That's what's going on here on my channels right now, and I hope that all sounds good to you. Also, an update. We're in the home stretch of the LA Noire playthrough over on DSP Throwback. It's going to probably finish within 1 to 1.5 weeks. And it's been determined the next playthrough I'm going to do over there will be one of my original Grand Theft Auto playthroughs. Either GTA 3, GTA Vice City, or GTA San Andreas. But I need your feedback on which one you want to see first. Which classic GTA would you like to know? Or like to see first? Okay? Share. Give your opinion. Because that's going to come soon. Within like probably 2 weeks, we're going to start. So I need your opinions on this. Let me know. And we'll go from there. I will definitely take in all of your feedback. And weigh and balance that. See, there you go. Listen to this. Some people, so Vice City. Well, San Andreas is my comfort GTA because it was my first one. No, not GTA 4. You're all talking nonsense. I'm not remastering the GTA 4 playthrough. We're talking about the ones I did with the camera. Okay. Yeah, Sakaino Senshi, absolutely. He says he has more mechanics he can tell me about, like the cancels. Yeah, I have no idea how to cancel in this game, SVC. So if you could tell me how to do that, I'd appreciate that too. Okay. Okay, so good stuff, right? All good stuff coming up. I'm very excited for this. Also keep in mind, in August is going to be a heavy reacting month. Because in August, it's going to be me reacting to the Review Tech USA documentary by June the King once it releases. And then it's going to be me reacting to my own documentary once it releases. So, we're going to have a good amount of stuff to discuss. All right? Cool. All right. I think we're done with all of that. I think now what we should do is we should head into my favorite segment. Your favorite segment. Everyone's favorite segment here on the Level 1 podcast. It's a little segment that I like to call DSP News. And in this segment, do you know what we do? We talk about news. So let's do that. Okay, we have a few stories for today. Some interesting stories to cover today. The first story is that it is official. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, that's right, the one that's out right now, will be hitting Game Pass tomorrow. 100%. Anyone who has Game Pass will now have access to the game without paying any additional fee. So if you've held off on playing Call of Duty this year because you didn't want to drop $70 plus tax, I don't blame you. But now you can play it as a Game Pass subscriber. And again, it looks like moving forward every year, Call of Duty will be on Game Pass. So, so check it out if you're interested. If you're not, well, then it's probably not big news for you at all, right? Okay. Also, Player First Games, which is the company that makes Multiverses, has officially been purchased by Warner Brothers Games and is now part of the Warner Brothers Games family. Now, this announcement comes on the heels of MVS releasing about a month and a half ago, and the fighting game community basically is torn on the game. Some people like it, some people don't like it at all. It seems like it's going to have more of a casualized fan base than a competitive fan base. Of course, it's releasing its expansion this week, which is Season 2, which is going to have Samurai Jack and Beetlejuice, I believe. And they made it clear that even though the studio is now owned by Warner Brothers Games, the people who are in charge at Player First Games will remain in charge and essentially work independently. It's not like, oh, we're going to completely shift the management around and the whole philosophy of the company will change. They're going to basically work as kind of an independent entity continuing to make the Multiverses games. So will this mean more good news or bad news for MVS? I don't know. You would think it would be good news, right? You would hope, but I guess we'll see. Let's do the good story first, and then we'll do the controversial news story. So the good story is that Capcom, in the last 10 to 11 years, while the rest of the gaming industry seems to have been collapsing, Capcom has had a complete and utter turnaround. Meaning, at one point 10 years ago, Capcom was doing poorly. They had flops, such as Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Resident Evil 6. And Capcom, in the last 11 years, completely turned their company around. They reinvigorated Street Fighter. They reinvigorated Resident Evil. Monster Hunter became a worldwide phenomenon of sales and success. So, what is the secret that Capcom has? Because if you look at the rest of the games industry, you got other companies that are failing, sales flops, laying off employees, closing studios, right? And why is it that Capcom seems to be so successful right now amid this industry where everyone else is claiming the industry is on a downturn, right? I mean, we had Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox Gaming, come out, oh, the whole industry right now is in a slump. Like, actually, Phil, if you had a brain in your fucking head, you look around you and see there's companies that are doing well. You're just not doing the things that they're doing, and that's why you're failing. So, here is Capcom outlining the reasons why it was able to stay successful and have 11 years of consecutive operating profit growth. Okay? Number one, carrying out pricing strategies with a shift from physical retail stores to digital sales directly online. What do you mean by that? Well, I think we can all agree that digital sales have become way bigger than physical sales, right? Games are selling more digitally now than physical. It's just a fact. You can't dispute it, okay? And Capcom has embraced that. Capcom has found ways to distribute their games well, price them well. They're not price gouging online, which is good. And they're releasing their games day one digital across all platforms. If you haven't noticed, there's no, oh, Resident Evil will come out on this platform first and then this platform. No, they're doing it all across the board the same, right? So there you go. That's a good strategy. Don't screw with people. Have the digital pricing the same. Have the games come out at the same time. I agree. I think that was a good idea. Number two, discounts on past series titles in conjunction with the launch of a new release. So, if you're going to release a new Resident Evil, discount all your old Resident Evils and push that as a sale. If you're going to sell a new fighting game, push the old iterations of the fighting game and have that as a sale, right? Yeah, that makes complete and utter sense. People probably who are already hyped for the new one will maybe want to go down memory lane and play the old one, or vice versa. Maybe you've played the new one, you love it, and now you want to see the history of where the game has been, but you never played it before. Well, get it at a discount, right? Great strategy. Thoroughly managing and maintaining a 5-year development map for all of its games. Now that actually might be the biggest one. And here's why I say that. If you look at other games, all right, that were planned to be big hits but flopped, there's a reason for it, and it's usually bad planning or really bad execution of the plan. I'll give you a perfect example of this. Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite on launch was lauded by critics and players alike as the best Halo in about a decade. It had a different kind of campaign that was interesting. It had online play that at launch was very fun, and people said, okay, give us more. What's the plan? To which 343 Industries says, what are you talking about? And everyone's like, well, that's the base game. You've released the base game. Now, what's your plan? What's your roadmap for this game? What can we expect for improvements, new maps, new modes? And 343 said, huh? What are you talking about? Like, what? Dude, you now understand? It's modern day now. This is not Halo 3 days on the Xbox 360. People are expecting content out of your games. How can you just drop the game and be like, oh, we didn't know. What are you talking about? We don't have any, They literally didn't have any plan. So when the fans within 2 months said, this is boring, we want more, 343 said, well, we're not ready to release any content yet. And the entire player base left. How you can botch something like that so big, I have no clue, but they managed to do it. All right? And if you look at most of the games that have been total flops, all right, it's basically because the studios didn't plan properly or execute properly. Take a look at Suicide Squad, all right? You have a studio that is known for a trilogy of amazing single-player Batman narrative games. You, instead of continuing on with that greatness and laying out the groundworks for success, you tell that studio to make a looter-shooter online cooperative game that's going to basically have like season pass style content in a games as a service setting. Huh? That was your plan. That's your 5-year plan. Change everything the studio is known for doing well. Don't do something else well. Do something else that everyone else has already done before you and do it poorly. Right? Just imagine, right? If right now Resident Evil said, Resident Evil 9 will be an online co-op shooter with season pass content, games as a service. Do you think it would do well? So, yeah, that's basically, that's where Capcom is doing well. They know what their strengths are, and they lay out 5-year plans for each release to have seasonal content that people want, don't feel ripped off at spending on, and then they hyper-focus on their strengths. Like, and the funny part is, okay, if you look at all those 3 things that I just mentioned, do any of those sound like revolutionary strategies? Carrying out pricing strategies with the shift from physical retail to digital, discount on past titles in conjunction with the launch of a new one, and thoroughly managing and maintaining a 5-year development plan for each game. Does that sound like rocket science? No, right? But that just proves that the people who are in charge at Capcom are something that the rest of the gaming industry is missing. You ready for this? They are gamers who are insightful to the gaming community. They're listening to what people want, and they're giving people what they want. You couldn't have had a bigger turnaround from Street Fighter V to 6. Street Fighter V completely botched. Street Fighter 6 did everything right. That's why Capcom is successful. They're not just sitting there in their boardrooms making arbitrary decisions on how to pay their shareholders. They're making good products. They're selling them smartly. They're developing for them wisely. They're playing to their strengths. They're doing everything that anyone with common fucking sense could do. The problem is the other key people in the gaming industry are disconnected from gaming and they don't understand the industry anymore. They actually still think that games as a service will sell. You're already 2-3 years outdated. By the time you make the games as a service game, the fad has passed. They're running behind. They're running scared, trying to play catch up instead of being at the front of where they should be, the forefront. And that's sad. You know, the Yves Guillemot, the Phil Spencer, they're not the fucking Todd Howard. They are not in line with what modern gamers want anymore. They're dinosaurs. They need to retire and put people with brains who are in tune with modern gamers in places of power, and then these companies would find a turnaround. Because the truth is, no, gaming is not in a slump. The management of gaming is in a slump. Phil Spencer is the problem with Xbox, not the gamers who want to buy games and play them on their Xboxes. You see? But he doesn't want to admit that, because then he has to look in the mirror and realize he's the problem and fucking get the fuck out of there and put someone else in power who's smart, and he doesn't want to lose his job. Anyway, all right. So, Capcom has continually sold games over the long term and achieved increased operating profits of over 10% each year. Each year, Capcom is making 10% more profit. At a time when, again, the rest of the industry is complaining, oh, we're in a slump, Capcom increases their profits 10% every year. How can you tell me we're in a slump? Now, in addition to that, Capcom, because they made that statement, a lot of people were actually shocked. They were like, wait a minute. So you're saying that you shifted from digital from physical? Is that what you're saying the future is? And then Capcom actually clarified for their investors. They said, no, please listen. We believe there is still significant demand for physical games. And despite the rise of digital game popularity, we want to continue selling physical copies for those who want them. And in fact, here's their direct quote. Given that a significant number of end users demand physical games, we currently do not expect to eliminate the physical medium. So they're going to keep selling physical as long as people want them and will pay for them, right? There you go. Cool. So that was the positive story for today. Capcom doing everything right, being successful. Sounds good to me. And I like their games. I like Resident Evil right now. I like Street Fighter right now. Monster Hunter is one that maybe I'll get into at some point. I think I would have liked it if I ended up playing it, but you guys found it very boring years ago. Maybe if there's a more modern Monster Hunter coming out, I'll check it out. Okay. All right, cool. Now the big story for today, the one that we're all waiting for. So as you know, recently I've been talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Just the other day, there was a story how it was discovered that the whole narrative that Yasuke was a samurai was completely fabricated by a white male historian who worked at a Japanese university. He literally exaggerated and made it up so that he could write several articles and books, and he could be interviewed and be a prominent guy in the Japanese educational scene. However, when this character was selected to be one of the main characters of Assassin's Creed Shadows, people started doing research and found out there's actually no historical basis to prove what this guy has said. They researched him and found out this guy is a scam artist. He was going on to Wikipedia, and he was writing and editing his own articles to corroborate his own bullshit that he made up. The university he worked for found this out, fired him, and completely erased his existence from anything they've ever done, as if he never existed as a human. The guy went into hiding and deleted all of his social media accounts. Okay? So while all this is happening, the Japanese government started to investigate and basically is looking into what's really going on with Ubisoft. So while all of this is going on, overnight, Ubisoft issued an apology to the Japanese country. I'm serious. They outright apologized to all of Japan. Are you ready? I'm going to read it word for word. Here is the Ubisoft apology to Japan as a whole. Here we go. To our esteemed Japanese community, a message from the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. First, we want to express our heartfelt thanks for all of your support for the Assassin's Creed series, which now has its own history spanning almost 20 years. Over this time, we have explored various settings, time periods, and characters, from an assassin during the Third Crusade to a Viking in the 9th century England, and countless more. For many of our team, creating an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan has been a long-cherished dream. Since the announcement of Assassin's Creed Shadows, we have received many positive reactions, but also some criticism, including from you, our Japanese players. We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for the historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. We would like to address a few points to clarify our intentions and creative decisions. Overall authenticity efforts. We have put significant effort into ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. However, our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed games, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, as factual representations of history or historical characters. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about the historical settings that we get inspired by. So what they want you to do is research and find out that Yasuke actually wasn't a samurai. That's just a genius statement right there. Assassin's Creed Shadows is first and foremost designed to be an entertaining video game that tells a compelling historical fiction set in feudal Japan. Our team extensively collaborated with external consultants, historians, researchers, and internal teams at Ubisoft Japan to inform our creative choices. And so here's my question. So how many of them told you that Yasuke wasn't a samurai? Because they all should have. Because that's history. That's fact. Right? So if you literally collaborated with people who told you otherwise, they're bunk, idiotic morons who lied to you or are misinformed. That doesn't make it better. It just makes it that you're still wrong. Let's continue. Despite these sustained efforts, we acknowledge that some elements in our promotional materials have caused concern within the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. Are you aware, guys, that what they've shown so far, the sword that Yasuke is using looks exactly like Zoro's sword from One Piece? Yeah, they copied it. It looks exactly the same. So they made the main character a black samurai that didn't exist, and now he's using the sword from One Piece. Wow, what a historical representation of Japan, huh? It's so funny. I wish it was a joke. I wish I was making this up. I'm not. This is a true story going on right now. Okay? Okay, continuing on. All game footage presented so far is in development, and the game will keep evolving until launch. So you want to know what this is? I'll tell you what it is. Ubisoft is saying, so now because you complained, we're going to change it. So now that sword will change. They're going to change the things people complained about because they got called out for it. They wouldn't have done that if they weren't called out for it, though, but that's essentially what they're saying right now. Based on the constructive criticism we have received, we will continue our efforts until we put this game into your hands and beyond. We also want to clarify that while we have been consulting with many people throughout the development process, they are in no way responsible for the decisions that are taken by the creative team in the interest of gameplay and entertainment. So basically what they're saying is don't attack the people who are our consultants because we made bad decisions. Consequently, we respectfully request any criticism not be directed at our collaborators, both internal and external. So again, don't blame our collaborators for our bad decisions. Okay? All right. Creative liberties and historical inspirations. While we strive for authenticity in everything that we do, Assassin's Creed games are works of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. From its inception, the series has taken creative license and incorporated fantasy elements to craft engaging and immersive experiences. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this, his unique and mysterious life. I love how they say this, his unique and mysterious life. Oh, like it's fucking some big deal. It's going to be a shittily written video game, just like all these fucking games recently. But anyway, they make him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. We have woven this carefully into our narrative, and with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Nao, or Neo, however you say it, Naui, who is equally important in the game, Our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. Who cares? Like, what does it have to do with anything? We greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue sharing your thoughts respectfully. While we understand that meeting everyone's expectations is very difficult, we sincerely hope that when Assassin's Creed Shadows launches on November 15th, players in Japan and around the world will appreciate the dedication, effort, and passion we have poured into it, the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. So essentially, it's an apology, but not really. What they're basically saying is, we acknowledge that we're taking massive creative liberties with Japanese history, and we hope that you understand that it's just a game, so please don't be upset with us and still buy our game. So what this will result in, I predict, is no one in Japan is going to buy the game. Because instead of saying nothing, that non-apology is a slap in the face to those in Japan who actually are upset. So they're not going to buy it. Not that it matters, because Assassin's Creed was never a huge seller in Japan regardless. But the point here was, we've been waiting for an Assassin's Creed in Japan for a very long time. This was their chance to do the right thing and do something interesting. And instead, they went this weirdo route. And because of that, now people are upset. Like, I mean, think about it. Imagine if you actually were Japanese and you were like, man, I can't wait for Assassin's Creed to finally be in Japan. And then they announce that the main protagonist is a black samurai who didn't even exist and a female shinobi, of which there's probably almost none ever in the history of Japan. Well, why aren't you representing our actual history? Why did you make up a fantasy story so ridiculously fabricated and silly rather than something that could have actually happened in feudal Japan? I can kind of get that, right? I totally could understand that you've been waiting all this time to be represented, and instead of being represented, here's a weird outside fringe case what-if scenario that isn't even representative of your culture. So why did they even bother putting it in Japan then, right? So I get it. I can understand why people would be upset. Personally, I'm more in the camp of, dude, it's just a video game. It's Assassin's Creed. Didn't you see the last several ones? They weren't very good. Okay, like let's be honest. Ivor, the fucking Viking, do you think that was historically accurate? It's Assassin's Creed, and he's not even an assassin. He wasn't even an assassin. So, you know what I mean? Like, I see this from the perspective of, I don't care, because they're already doing hack job games anyway. So it doesn't, I wasn't expecting this to be historically accurate. You want something way better would be Ghost of Tsushima. Now, that's not historically accurate 100%, but at least they tried to incorporate real history into it and not go off the deep end with some weirdo situation, right? But yeah, like I understand why there might be uproar, but I'm of the impression these guys have been doing this kind of shit with their games for a long time. I don't know why this one is so polarizing. Like, I didn't hear people of Viking heritage from like Norway and shit coming out and complaining about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right? I didn't hear people from Greece complaining about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but we have Japanese people complaining about Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Okay. Exactly. Lord Xlaw just said, why would you be mad about Yasuke when Bayek, Ivor, Ezio never existed? Okay, but you could argue, for example, Ezio. You could argue that with Ezio, they tried to put a fictional character into a historical time period that kind of made sense. It wasn't like Ezio was Chinese in the middle of Italy, and he's the main character of Assassin's Creed 2, right? You understand? That's essentially what they're complaining about. Imagine if Ezio was Chinese. Then, okay, I could see, okay, why you might be a little upset if you were Italian. Anyway, all right, anyway, so now we're going to see what happens. Okay, I'm really interested to see what happens with this game moving forward. For me, I wasn't expecting it to be historically accurate. I expected it to be pretty silly regardless. But now, even more so, like, what are they going to do with this game? You know, they could go different ways. They could literally push it to the extreme and do insanely not even possible things just because they want to fuck with people now, right? They really could. I could see that. I could totally see them going that extreme way. At the same time, they did this non-apology, and I wonder, because they're saying, oh, we're still evaluating what's actually going to be in the game. Will they change stuff now? Will they change the sword? Will they change other things that people have complained about or whatever, right? I don't know. But it's very odd. It's a very odd situation. I feel like 10 years ago, no one would have said a word about any of this. It wouldn't have been on either side. Like, there would have been no complaints. No one would have taken it so seriously. Everyone would have been like, it's just a fucking video game. Who cares? Right? Today, it's like everyone gets so pissy about everything. And I kind of scratch my head about it. It's like, so guys, you realize it's a video game, right? Like, it's not real. It's supposed to be something that we can do to enjoy fantasy, to make us forget about real life stresses and stuff. Why are we approaching it so seriously? Okay? But anyway, it's going to be controversial with all the shit going on around it. I can't imagine how it's not going to be a big controversial release when it comes out in November. So, okay. Anyway, that's that. That's what I have for game news today. I hope you enjoyed the segment. Cool. Stealthy Kubo says the sword will now be changed to the Moonlight Sword from Dark Souls. There you go. Dark Magus says the only historically accurate things about Assassin's Creed is the setting, buildings, and historical figures. The story is always a completely different thing. Exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure, thinking back in history, I don't recall our world leaders chasing objects of power like the Apple of Eden. Right? Right? I don't think so. I don't recall that at all. Right? Anyway. Okay, so, would I take a job as a gaming consultant? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would tell these people exactly what to do, and they'd be multi-zillionaires if they listened to me. Everyone knows that. No one disagrees whatsoever. All right. And by the way, welcome to Jasper Kitty. Here he is. He finally came on stream. The door's been open the whole time. He finally showed up. He's like, oh, is the nonsensical news done? Now I can show up on stream. Here he is. Looking good today, Jasper Kitty. All right. All right. So, let's get the shout-outs. We start off today with Zyla. We did a super chat and says, is Final Fantasy VII ever coming back because the fans are waiting? Zyla, you obviously have not been paying any attention to my content for the last 2 weeks. We all talked this out. All right? And we figured out that it's going to take me about 60 hours to beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth if I resume it. I'm only 20 hours in, and the game's anywhere from 60 to 80 hours long. All right? We talked about the time frame that I have. I have between now, right now, and the 20th of August to play stuff. Because after that, we've got Black Myth Wukong. We've got the rumor that the Marvel collection is coming out. We've got Star Wars Outlaws. We've got the Black Ops 6 beta. And that's just a few things to mention, okay? There's more coming than that, but those are the few things that come to mind, all right, that are coming up around that time period, right? So with that being said, do I have 60 gameplay hours to play Final Fantasy VII right now during July, August? No, I don't. Why should I resume that now and then never finish it, right? In addition to that, talking with everyone here on streams or whatever, okay? There is a vocal minority of people who wish that I would go back to the game. But every time I pose a question, no one can seem to answer it. Here's the question. If there really is demand for me to bring back Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, okay, a significant amount of people who want to see me continue with the game, finish it, etc. Where were those people when it was a new game and no one showed up to the streams? Because if you remember, my final stream of the game had less than 200 viewers and had like a $10 of support, right? People in chat that day were literally complaining that the game sucked, was too slow-paced, was boring, and they would wish that I would stop playing it and do something else. Literally, that was the discussion. I turned to the chat as I was playing it, and people in the chat were talking about sports and other unrelated topics that have nothing to do with me. And when I asked them why, they said, because this game sucks and we don't want to see it anymore. So I stopped playing it. If you were someone who wanted Final Fantasy VII, you had to have been here when it was new to say, we want it, and show that effort. The people were not here. So I'm sorry, but I don't see any evidence that says if I bring back Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and I put 60 hours of effort into playing this game and finishing it, that anyone's going to care. we're probably going to go back to the same 100, 200 people who watch everything, and a small handful who like it, and everyone else will complain that the game is boring and sucks, right? Now, you can argue something. You could say, well, there was RPG overload earlier this year. That was the real problem, because you had Baldur's Gate 3, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth all going on at the same time, and literally right after that, we also had Dragon's Dogma 2. You're right. That's what I said. That's what I said back then. I said, 100%, this is going to happen. This is going to be overload, and it doesn't even matter what games release. You're going to see these games cannibalize each other. And everyone argued with me, oh no, that doesn't happen with other content creators. That doesn't happen within the gamer community. You don't know what you're talking about. What happened? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth undersold dramatically. Square Enix was shocked it undersold so much, and people didn't care about it on my streams. So I was 100% correct with what was going on, but everyone wants to give me shit and not listen, and then when it happens, everyone just forgets, right? So, it's this simple. I'm not convinced. Something needs to convince me to bring back Final Fantasy VII. I haven't been convinced. I'm sorry. I just haven't been. I think it's, like I said, it's a vocal minority. It's a few people, probably like a few dozen, who really like this game and want to see it, but it's not going to constitute playing 60 hours on my streams. It's not going to be worth that time investment. If I had, let me put it this way. If I could beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in 20 hours, I would actually play it right now. Because I would just say, let's do it for the month. Let's finish it. Let's get it done over the month. Late July, early August. Let's just play through it and finish it. I would do it. I would do it right now. But 60 hours is too long of an investment. Okay? Truth is, the industry is all too samey. Everyone copies each other. Right now, there is a big fad. Every RPG needs to be 60 to 80 hours long for no good reason. A lot of that ends up being padding, repetitive, not very entertaining. That's not me. That's the game makers who are doing that. Okay? If you want to see a change, you got to tell the people making these games, stop fucking making all RPGs 100 hours long with a bunch of this frivolous bullshit in it. Make games that are streamlined but really good. That's what I miss. Games that are streamlined but incredibly good. We don't get those anymore. Now we get 80-hour bloated experiences that don't resonate. That half the game is boring. Dude, do you remember in Final Fantasy 15? Excuse me, Final Fantasy 16? People said, dude, do some side content. I said, okay, let's do it. And I went to town, and it was about bringing lunch to someone. You have to go bring lunch to this person across town. I said, what? I said, I'm supposed to be saving the world. You're handing me a bag with a ham sandwich in it, and you actually expect me to walk across town and give this to someone else. Like, they act like it's fucking 1992. And this is something, like, what the fuck is going on? Right? And this is where they think modern gaming should be. There was actually people in chat defending that. Oh, that's good content. I was like, what, are you stupid? I have better things to do with my time. I can go take a shit, and it's better use of my time than delivering a ham sandwich in this fucking game. Right? Like, what is going on with modern games? So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Listen, I own Rebirth. Maybe in the future, at some point, we will go to it and finish it. All right? I'm not doing it now. We don't have time. And I'm not that interested in it regardless. And I'm not convinced that people hear regardless. Right? Excuse me. That was absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how you even expect me to beat a 60-hour game in a month, right? I'm not going to be playing it every stream, that's for sure. You know? So, no, I'm not doing it right now. I'll leave it as a possibility for the future. But right now, no. I'm not playing it. Okay. So thank you, Zyla, for the super chat. But the answer is no. Hold on. Let me make it abundantly clear. Will Phil be playing and finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth over the course of the summer? I screwed up. Let's try that again. Will Phil... What is with the... Why is it not centered? This is very odd. That's better. I was like, why is this not centered? Hold on a second here. Yeah, look at this. That's better. Okay, ready? Will Phil finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth over the course of the summer 2024? Well, let me think long and hard about this. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play that game. Okay, thank you. All right. There you go. You got a little bit of magic behind the scenes of how stuff works around here. There you go. Okay. Token has been a member for 6 months and asks, have you been watching House of the Dragon? Hold on. Has Phil recently been watching House of the Dragon on the Max? No. No, I haven't been watching House of the Dragon. I'm not interested. I haven't been interested in Game of Thrones in a very long time. I don't care. There we go. Okay. First tip of the day. I received a $1.50 tip from Beaver Bother. Phil, I'm typing in chat, but no one seems to respond to me, and you never seem to answer my questions. Beaver Bother, that's because you've been blocked in chat for like 6 months. You just noticed now? Wow. That was a pretty long time for you to notice that no one can see what you're saying. I'm not kidding. I'm pretty sure Beaver Bother got banned in like February. Wow. Well, Beaver Bother, thanks for the first tip of the day. If you would like to be unbanned, at this point, it's incredibly long removed from when or why you were banned. So if you email me and you send me your channel link, I'll look into unbanning you, okay? Because, man, it's been so long that since I've seen you in chat, I have no recollection of why you would have been banned to begin with, okay? Okay. All right, so guys, that's what we got for now. We have a little bit of extra time, so I'll open it up to Q&A. If you guys would like to chat, please tag me. Any contributions come in, I'll shout them out. Now, you guys know the deal. We're going to have a silly stream of SVC Chaos today. It should be pretty fun and wild. Really, you see how this game looks and plays. But, yeah, please support the stream. I look to hit 50 bucks in tips today for this stream. I do that. I try to look to do for that every stream. So please consider supporting if you can in any way, whether it's a super chat, membership, gifted membership, or tip. As you know, we have golden effect for tips as well. So thank you in advance to anyone who supports. Okay. If Kamala Harris becomes president, is her husband the first man? Yes. Right? If it's the first lady, then he's the first man or the first gentleman. Correct. Yeah, that's what it would be. Eyes Darkness is crazy how Chrono Trigger is made in 1995. It's still the best RPG. It can be beaten in 20 hours. Yeah, funny, huh? Did I ever try Street Fighter EX games from the PS1 era? No, I tried Street Fighter EX games from the arcade era. Because they were all arcade games first, and that's where I played them. I played them in the arcades. From Arika. You know, characters like Darun Meister. Or D-Dark. Or, who the hell was the guy who was like Ken but not? He was the rip-off Ken, right? I forgot his name. But yeah, no, I played all those in the arcades back in the day. Sure I did. Jay Stan says, hey, maybe next summer, watch Game of Thrones House of the Dragons while playing Final Fantasy Rebirth at the same time. 2 birds with 1 stone. There you go. Adam says, if I sub to your private react tier on Patreon, would you do gameplay instead of reacting? I'm not sure how that would work. Okay. The way it works is thus. On my Patreon, patreon.com/darksydephil, I have a $50 tier. What that does, essentially, it buys about 20 minutes or so of my time. Sometimes I'll go a little longer than that. But it's supposed to be, originally it was a Q&A video where people would ask me questions and I would just answer them as a private conversation. Then it turned into private reacting, meaning people have me watching videos and listening to music and doing things like that. So frequently now I get people who pay 50 bucks for around 25 minutes or 100 bucks for like 50 minutes of reacting. I don't know exactly how it would work. You want to pay me 50 bucks to play 25 minutes of a game? How would that work exactly? Because most games have an intro or whatever, right? Like, I don't even know how exactly that would work. But let me put it this way. I'm not going to shut down the idea, but at the same time, I would certainly like to talk with you about it if you're interested. So I would say email me and let's talk about it so we can figure that out, the details first. What I don't want to do is uh what I don't want to do is get people pledging and requesting things that I have no interest in doing. So please run it by me before you pledge to my Patreon. That way it's not, you know, I have to refund pledges and things, which makes it messy with the Patreon and everything. Okay? Cool. Who am I going to use in SVC Chaos? I have no idea, Sakai no Senshi. Like, the Capcom characters look absolutely hilarious, so I want to mess with some of them, but I also want to try some of the SNK characters who I know from the King of Fighters series, so I might play a variety today. I don't think I'm sticking with one person or anything like that. I think I'll mess around a bit. We'll see. The Historian's Lie spread to Rise of the Ronin 2. You can find a samurai outfit set called Yasuke's Armor. Really? So I think what it is that that fake historian fooled everyone. People are now making games about feudal Japan, and they're looking for interesting stories, right? And they're researching, and they found this guy's stuff that he literally fucking made up to make, basically, to put himself over so he could write books and articles. And now people think it's historically accurate because it was on Wikipedia and everything. So they all quoted it, and it's all wrong. So that's kind of, that's actually one of the dangers of this kind of stuff being on the internet. Like back in the day, you'd actually have to look at historical books and things. Now some idiot can fucking write shit on Wikipedia and everyone believes it, right? Okay, I received a $4.20 tip from MVC for life. Heads up, SVC doesn't have a quick matchmaking. I refunded on Steam because of that. What does that mean? It doesn't have a quick matchmaking. I don't know what you mean by that. Are you saying it takes forever to find a match? Is that what you're saying? Did I play the animation? I didn't, did I? Here we go. Our first animation of the day. Yama. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, MVC for life. If you mean it takes forever to find a match, that sucks. I guess we'll see how long it takes us today. Did I play Art of Fighting in arcades? To some extent, but no one really played it in arcades. Like, they had it, but no one really played it competitively. Like, SNK games were always there, and you'd mess around with them. But it wasn't until King of Fighters came out that people started to play it more competitively as, like, a fighting game sense. Sakai no Senshi says, charge characters in SVC Chaos have their charge timing reduced so it's easier to do charge moves. Don't bother playing Bison. He's really bad, but can loop a Mega Crusher. I know he's really bad. I remember he's, like, bottom tier. Also, I remember the charge moves are weird. Like, in a standard Street Fighter game, you could go, like, down back to, like, forward and do a move. In this one, it's like let's say you want to do a super. Let's say you wanted to do a super with Bison, his knee press nightmare. It used to be the technical move for it is back forward kick after charging, right? In a Street Fighter game, you go down back and you go forward, kind of down back forward pressing it. In this one, it's like super strict. So you have to charge and then go forward, back all the way. Like you actually have to do like neutral back and then forward again to even get the move to come out. Like you have to be like very strict in your inputs. Street Fighter is way more lax. This game is like really fucking strict about it. So that's why I remember a lot of times people would be dropping their moves and freaking out and be like, oh, this game doesn't work. Like, no, the game is just like really stingy with how you input stuff. So there's no ranked or quick matchmaking. You have to go to a lobby and challenge people to play. Wow, that does sound bad. I guess we'll see what happens. I received a $1 tip. What is up with random improper use of the word thus? I don't know. Perhaps I use it as a bridge word between thoughts. Right? To link different thoughts. It's a way to kill dead air between different thoughts that I'm saying. Thus, I use the word thus incorrectly. Are eyebrows considered facial hair? Absolutely yes. Do I think more RPGs should have hands-crafted side content? Like I'm doing a new run in Baldur's Gate 3 and I'm still finding new stuff? Yes. Would I rather fight one cheetah-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized cheetahs? Yes. Yes, I would. Any plans to go back to Battlefront? Oh, maybe. You know, I enjoyed playing Battlefront from time to time. We kind of forgot about it over the last couple of months because I've been busy with other things. So it's a maybe. Was Yasuke in Neo 1 inaccurate? I don't remember Yasuke being in Neo 1. So I can't answer that. Is head hair considered facial hair? Yes. Can you have a staring contest with chat? Yes. Excuse me. Sorry about that. What about forehead hair? Yes. Yes. I have a big brick beach. Did you read that wrong? Yes. Helldivers 2 announced a big update, by the way. Did they? Oh, yes. Yes. That's excellent. Yes. Is it true that cannibals don't eat clowns because they taste funny? Yes. Yes. If facial hair falls off, is it still facial hair? Yes. But it's loose facial hair, but it's yes, it is still facial hair. If you are bald, what hair color did you put on your driver's license? Yes. It'll say color, and you say, yes. My hair has color. That's how you answer it. Can we get some games and end this? Yes, we can. When we're ready, I will play games. We will end this podcast. Yes, that will happen. If a bunch of cats jump on top of each other, is it still called a dog pile? Yes. Yes, it is. It's a dog pile of cats. Yes. Bill is malfunctioning. And yes. Yes. What's a question with no answer called? Hold on a second. What is a question that has no answer called? It could be called... Yeah! Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Hold on. It could be called yes. Yes. It's called yes. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm being restreamed? Yes. Yes, I am being restreamed. Yes, I'm always being restreamed by fucking life losers. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh. 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 What a stretch. A stretch and a crack. Okay. Do I use Palmolive dishwasher soap? Actually, my mother, when I was a kid, always used the green Palmolive soap. And it had a weird smell to it. Like, it didn't smell like anything nice. It just smelled like soapy and sudsy. Do they even still have that Palmolive? I don't know if I've even seen that in stores recently. Andrew asks, what are you wanting in your next Like a Dragon game? How long should the story be compared to Infinite Well? I would like another new location. Rather than it just being Japan again, because I don't think they're gonna go back to Hawaii. So I would like another new location. That would be cool. I think they need to innovate in some way. Like this last one, having the two-party swap between was good. I just don't think that the core story was as good as the first game, and that's what kind of held it back for me. But otherwise, the graphics, the gameplay elements, and the two locations were great. So I would just like to see another new location. I think that would be pretty cool. And then some other kind of element, like maybe something else in the combat that innovates. I don't know. Dan just did a super chat and asks, "Are you going to play Kingdom Hearts 4?" I've already answered this. I said I don't know because Kingdom Hearts 3 was so bad that I don't even know if I want to waste time on 4. Like 3 was so piss easy and such a boring game. Like there was literally one interesting thing about Toy Story 3, and that was Toy Story 3. Excuse me. Kingdom Hearts 3, and that was the Toy Story stage. That was it. After Toy Story ended, the entire game was boring as dirt. So I don't know if I want to play the next one. I received a $5 tip from Big Papa Phil. Did you ever learn to use the defensive mechanics in F3C Chaos? There's cancels you do out of block. When you block, press forward to dash out of block. Get right in the face of the opponent to pressure and punish slower moves. You can also press strong punch and strong kick together at the same time to dash out of block, but it costs more meter. I was messing with it yesterday, but didn't use it as much as I was just having fun playing the game. It's janky glory. Yes, I was aware of that. And someone actually explained it earlier in chat as well. That what I don't remember is when you dash like that, is the opponent open? Like, is it like the parry mechanic where everything kind of freezes? Or is everything still moving? Because you might just dash and dash right into a super and it hits you in the face or whatever, right? Like, I wonder how it works. I guess we won't know till we try it, right? No, I've never tried tactical soap. What kind of soap do I use? I just use a body wash that is I use a body wash that says it has no like anything abrasive. It doesn't have like colors and scents. Why? Well, it has some scent. It has like natural scents because I have very sensitive skin. And I've used some body washes that after I used them, like my hands and my body broke out because my skin is so goddamn sensitive. So I have to use this stuff that's like very, very gentle on skin. I really hate my skin. I really detest it. I get giant acne. I'm 42 years old and I'm still getting big acne in places, which is awful. I don't wish that upon anyone. I have such sensitive skin that if my face sometimes itches, I'll go like this. I'll get a giant welt on the side of my nose. It's happened live on stream before. And my hands, I have eczema that comes and goes. So I have to keep applying different kinds of moisturizer and creams and things, anti-inflammatory creams to keep my hands so they don't just like fall apart. It's pretty disgusting. I hate my skin. Yeah, you remember early last year, this hand, I started to have stuff taped to it, and people started asking me on stream, "What are you doing?" I was like, "It's completely bad eczema. It's oozing. It's disgusting." So I had to talk to a doctor, and the doctor prescribed me this anti-inflammatory, and also said use this moisturizer, and look, now it's fine. It comes and goes. Like I'll have a day when I have a really itchy patch on my hand, so I got to put the anti-inflammatory on it, and then it goes away. And then some days it's fine, some days it's bad. It depends. Like right now, this skin right here is really dry for some reason. I've been trying to moisturize it for 2 dang days and still dry as shit for some reason. It's just annoying skin issues. It sucks. It's life though. What are you gonna do? I deal with it, you know. Like I said, I have basically given into the fact that I'm gonna have every problem my parents have. Like I've inherited every single health problem from them. So my mom has the eczema issue and the acne issue. My dad has back issues. So I've inherited every problem. My aunt had gout. I have gout. I have every problem from every relative I've absorbed into my genes. Whipping grabs cost meter in SVC, but it's used technically at a high level. Also, guard step cancel. You're invulnerable for 18 frames. So, yeah, it's a good punish. Wow. You're invulnerable after it. Okay. That's pretty good then. Yeah, I think that, like, grabbing, you don't even want to use it in SVC. It's terrible. The range is short as shit. And there's no tick throws in SVC, right? So, I don't even know, like, why you would use them at all unless it's a guarantee. That is true. I have a very large head. So that means that I'm very intelligent. My brain has swelled and grown to the size of like a watermelon inside of my large cranium. True. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Okay, guys, do you have anything else to talk about? It seems like discussion has slowed down a bit here. It's totally up to you guys if you want to keep going or not, or if we start the game. Thanks for your early support. I hope you guys will support the stream today. Again, this is more of a mess around stream. The SVC stuff is not going to be serious. I'll try to play it and learn it, but I'm not expecting to get good at this game. It's more experimenting with a really weird game. Okay? Did I ever play Punch-Out games on here? Punch-Out 1 is on the NES thing on Switch, right? And then I try it, but I couldn't remember the patterns to beat the guys. I got my ass beat. Oh, yeah? Akuma uses the throw best. He can get a walk-up Tiger Knee air fireball. It crosses up, and it sets up nearly unblockable mix-ups. So basically, you do Tiger Knee motion. He's in the air. He gets the air fireball. He lands, and he... Yeah, that, you know what that's from? That was also in... excuse me. That was also just like that in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. It was broken like that. Did Biden do the right thing? Yes. When Biden ate that ice cream cone on camera to create that iconic meme, that was the right thing to do because we've all enjoyed that meme for a very long time. Absolutely. Okay. Well, I guess it's time to kind of adjourn right now. Let's ice cream is doing great in the polls right now. Let's end the show. We'll get set up here for SVC. I got to get the PC on and everything, and we'll check it out. So, guys, I will not be here tomorrow. I wish you all a safe and fun Wednesday. When I come back on Thursday, we'll have another chill day of Fallout and Stardew. And in addition, I'll get you all caught up on news and my day off and all of that. And, of course, I'll talk about SVC today. Hopefully it goes well and is silly fun, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for a great podcast. I'll see you all Thursday.